Good day, my dear students. How are you? I hope that you are all okay. We are now on our second week in Philippine Politics and Governance subject, and I'm about to discuss the lesson 2. Welcome once again to our subject. I am Ms. J.N.M. Kurangyan, your subject teacher. Before we proceed to our main objectives, I just want to remind you that after our discussion, please don't forget to write your complete name to the list that I will be sending to you for your attendance. Before we start, may I ask everyone to please lend me your ears. It's recap time. Let us have a review and recall to what we had discussed last meeting. So last time I've discussed about the concept of politics and governance that dwells on the ways in which politics can be understood and studied. I also presented and discussed the meaning of politics, that in every aspect of man's life, there is always a conflict and disagreement. They disagree about the distribution of powers and resources as well as how to resolve such disagreement. So for today, for our week 2 lesson, I have prepared with you a motivational question. A motivational for you to have an idea what would be our next lesson. There are different ideologies that one can identify with when it comes to politics. In all of them, people believe that their way of ruling is the best one for the country and people. Are you a liberal, a conservative, or perhaps a communist? Find out with political ideology you suppose with the given question: should same-sex marriage be legalized? Choices are: yes, homosexuals have the same right as everyone. B, no, homosexuality is immoral and wrong. C, if it does not affect your duty to your country, then there is nothing wrong with it. D, all marriage is pointless. E, homosexuals are evil and need to be removed from our society. And F, there should be no laws about marriage. Whatever you choose from the choices given, it's something to do with the word ideology. So do you have any idea now with our topics? Our lesson 2 is all about political ideologies. This lesson delves in the study of political ideologies, which involves the nature, role, and significance of political ideas in understanding the various political phenomenon. All people are political thinkers. Whether they know it or not, people use political ideas and concepts whenever they express their opinions or speak their mind. Everyday language is littered with the terms such as freedom, fairness, equality, justice, and right. Political ideology, according to Antoine de Tracy of 1754 to 1836, coined the term ideology during the French Revolution and subsequently used in public in 1796. Ideology, according to Tracy, is a new science of ideas. From a literal term, ideology becomes a political weapon to condemn or criticize opposing a race of ideas or belief system. Beliefs are people's assessment of reality, which means what they hold to be true, whereas values are people's ideas about knowing what is right and wrong. According to Haywood, meaning about ideology is a political belief system. Ideology is an action. and oriented set of political ideas. The ideas of the ruling class, the worldview of a particular social class or social group. Ideology is a political ideas that embody or articulate class or social interest. It is an ideas that propagate false consciousness amongst the exploited, oppressed. Ideas that state the individual within a social context and generate a sense of collective belonging. It is also considered as an officially sanctioned set of ideas used to legitimate a political system or regime. And last one, an all-embracing political doctrine that claims a monopoly of truth. According to Haywood, ideology is an abstract and highly systematic set of political ideas. Political ideology could be seen as commitments in order to change political system. So now let us distinguish Ideologies from Ideas by Makridis and Rani of 1995. Comprehensiveness from a synonym of absoluteness and wholeness. In Tagalog, malawak na saklaw. It is an ideology that covers ideas pertaining many great matters, such as human beings' place in the universal domain, man's relationship to the divine being as the highest goals of society and government, the essential nature of people, and the best means of achieving the highest social and political objectives. The next one is pervasiveness or laganap. The set of ideas that has not only been known for a long time but has shaped the political beliefs and actions for many people. Before Christ, democracy, oligarchy, and autocracy are widely talked about, and that great movement has fought those ideologies for over 2,000 years. Next one is extensiveness, wideness or largeness, or in Tagalog, malawak or lawak. The set of ideas that held by a large number of people and plays a vital role in nations and states' political affairs. Intensiveness, a synonym of intensity or masinsinan in Tagalog. The set of ideas commands a strong commitment from many of its adherents and significantly influences political beliefs and actions. So there are characteristics of ideology, and these are: ideologies have their levels and in ism. Ideology is an action-oriented, and ideologies mobilize a large number of people. Ideologies provide an explanation for problems that controls modern societies by providing futuristic vision. And there are also features of ideology by Haywood of 2012. It offers an account of the existing order, usually in the form of a world view. It advances a model of the desired future, a vision of the good society. Features of ideology explains how political change can and should be brought about, how to get from the two other features. And there are also intellectual components of an ideology. And these are values, the vision of the ideal polity, and the vision of the ideal polity, the conception of the human nature, and the strategy of action, and the political tactics. What are the functions of ideologies? Ideology provides its believers with a sense of understanding history and with clues about what kind of things they should pay attention or to ignore. Ideology is essential and powerful. Functions of ideology addresses a basic human psychological needs such as safety, freedom, and community. There are also societal role of ideologies. Ideologies answers eternal questions and cut off competing beliefs and values. Ideologies explains how the universe works and why it works that way. And ideologies tell us how to behave. They help us predict the future. And that's why ideologies also considered as futuristic, views a futuristic vision. Ideologies in social studies is a certain set of ethical ideas, principles, doctrines, myths, or symbols of a social movement, institution, class, or large group that explains how society should work and offers some political and cultural blueprint for a certain social order. And here are the following political ideologies. Liberalism. Liberalism derived from a Latin word liber, which means free men. In short, men who were neither serfs nor slaves. It supports promoting the individual welfare and supporting civil rights and accepts peaceful political, social change within the existing political system. It believes that man is generally good and that his ability to reason allows him to attain economic, political, and social progress. Liberalism is a political and social philosophy that promotes individual rights, civil liberties, democracy, and the free enterprise. There are sets of values and beliefs of liberalism. Number one is individualism. It is the belief in the supreme importance of the individual over any other group or collective body. Freedom, the ability to think or act as one wishes. It is the capacity that can be associated with the individual, a social group, or a nation. Belief in supreme importance of the individuals leads naturally to the commitment to individual freedom. It is all about individual liberty, wherein it is considered as the supreme political value and the unifying principle of liberal ideology. Next one is reason. The power of reason gives human beings the capacity to take charge of their own lives and fashion their own destinies. Humankind was emancipated from the grip of the past and the weight of custom and tradition. Next is justice. It is moral standard of fairness and impartiality. It is as well denotes giving what is due to each person. Tolerance. It is forbearance. The willingness to accept views or action with which one is in disagreement. So that's all about the set of values and beliefs of liberalism. Next is conservatism. Conservatism derived from the term conservation. It is a political philosophy that trends to support the status quo and advocates change only in moderation. upholding the value of tradition, and seeks to preserve all that is good about the past. Conservatism is a political and social philosophy promoting traditional social institution in the context of the culture and civilization. It is a political doctrine that emphasizes the value of traditional institution and practices, and that is conservatism. Next is socialism. The term socialism derived from the word socialist, in Latin social meaning to combine or to share. As Schrem of 2011 puts it, socialism is an economic and political doctrine advocating governmental ownership and direction of production and services, but which would retain existing institutions as the means of regulating them. It is also viewed as an ideology which opposes capitalism and tries to provide a more humane and socially valuable substitute. So there are also distinctive ways of understanding socialism. Socialism is seen as an economic model. Socialism is an instrument of the labor movement. And socialism is a political creed. A political creed that encompasses community, cooperation, equality, class politics, and collective ownership. Next one is social democracy. It is a moderate or reformist brand of socialism that favor a balance between the market and the state rather than the abolition of capitalism. It is an ideological stance that supports a full balance between market communism. Communism, it is an economic, social, and political system seeking government ownership of the means, production, and service directed by a process of scientific administration and universal assent by Schrems of 2011. It is an extreme left-wing ideology based on the revolutionary socialist teachings of Karl Marx and economists, characterized by collective ownership and planned economy. Thus, each should work for their capability and they will receive according to their needs. And that is communism. Fascism. Fascism derived from fasces, an Italian word which means a bundle of rods with an axe blade protruding the signified authority of magistrates in Imperial Rome by Haywood of 2011. Fascism is a movement that stands for outmoded. Outmoded, repressive, social and political conditions, rejecting democracy, repudiates constitutionalism, and stresses that all values arises from the stage against which the individual has no right. Moreover, authentic freedom is in subjugation to an authoritarian, totalitarian, and omnipotent state, thus rejecting the equality and replaces the principle of hierarchy to the supreme leader whose will is law. Fascism has a strong anti-rational, anti-liberal, anti-conservative, and anti-capitalism, and anti-communist, and so on. So there are salient features of fascism, and these are totalitarianism, nationalism, anti-liberalism, militarism, and violence, and leadership. The next one, we have religious fundamentalism. Religious fundamentalism is an unusual political ideology. The word fundamentalism is taken from the Latin word fundamental, meaning base. And here are the following themes of religious fundamentalism: religion as politics, the fundamentalist impulse, the anti-modernism, and the militancy. Religion fundamentalism is associated with inflexibility, dogmatism, authoritarianism, or worse, violence. It is characterized by a rejection of the distinction between politics and the religion. Next one, we have the feminism. Feminism is derived from a Latin word femina, meaning woman or female, concerned with the attainment of gender equality in the political, economic, and social spheres in life. Its primary focus is the position of women in the society. The basic idea of feminism is that women experience a poor state in society. A consequence of the patriarchy, which male domination of women, which has historically characterized that all social relationship, and that this disadvantage can and should overthrown. And the last one, we have the environmentalism. Environmentalism is an ideology focusing on the idea that environment is endangered and must be preserved through regulation and lifestyle changes, by Rackins et al. Of 2012. Its concern is about the natural environment and particularly about reducing environmental degradation. That is more of policy orientation rather than an ideology stance. The regulation was only part of the environmental credo. Okay, so that's all about our topic for today. It's all about apolitical ideologies. So guys, do you have any questions? If so, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay, you can send me all your questions via Messenger, GC, or personal messages. I will entertain all your questions and I will answer all your questions. So for now, I would like to thank you for your time in listening. God bless and keep safe, everyone.